Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Today we're going to be going over what weapons you should be using in Off the Grid with my meta weapon tier list. I put a lot of effort into this video, so if you do enjoy, please remember to like and subscribe for more Off the Grid content I post every week on my channel. Alright, let's get into it. For our first weapon in meta tier, it's going to be the Kestrel. You've probably seen a lot of people using this, specifically a no-scope build like this. It's crazy accurate, does a lot of damage, a 2-shot kill, and people are essentially using it as a shotgun. The Kestrel does still need a nerf. Alright, for our next weapon we're going to put in the meta tier list is going to be the Terracon. The Terracon Maniac variant, if you have it, because it has a built-in barrel attachment, giving you essentially 5 attachments you're able to equip by attaching 4 on top of that. But if you need a close or mid-range sprayer weapon, use the Terracon Maniac. Alright, our next weapon in the meta tier list is going to be the Flenser Shotgun. The Flenser Shotgun does a crazy amount of damage, even from the hip. If you're point blank, you can get a kill in 2 to 3 shots. It's super easy to slide and pop a shot while sliding when you're chasing someone if they're on runners. In my personal opinion, this concludes the meta tier list. There are going to be some weapons that we have that are borderline between a couple tiers here. I will specify on those. So for our first weapon in the gray tier, we're going to do the Influencer Shotgun. Now, why did I put this in the gray tier when it just got a buff recently a week ago? It does shoot slugs only, so that's what you have to give up when you use this weapon. RNG of being able to land your slugs, essentially. If you're hip firing with this, good luck. That's why I put it in the gray tier personally. Alright, our next weapon for the gray tier is going to be the Hawk LMG. This was the gun I was maining a lot last season. I'm now off of it. It's still good for long range. The build that I have is insanely accurate, but personally right now I'm either using the Kestrel or the Terracon. Our next weapon in the gray tier is going to be the Woodpecker SMG. Now this thing I would say could be meta if you're just asking for what is the best SMG. If you ask me, it's going to be between the Woodpecker, the Kochi, and the Tacoma. The Woodpecker has insanely high damage per shot. Alright, on that note, our next weapon going in the gray tier is going to be the Kochi SMG. Now this is a new SMG. It still does a lot of damage output. It's definitely a good gun to get off drop or if you don't have your loadout yet, but personally I'm not rocking it in a loadout. Our next gun in the gray tier is going to be the Tacoma SMG. The Tacoma SMG, you can put a drum mag on it that has 50 in a clip, and this thing does insanely high damage output because it has a high rate of fire and insanely accurate. So when you're shooting someone in the head, you can kill them extremely fast if you are using this. It just doesn't necessarily fit my playstyle, so that's why I'm putting it in the gray tier and not the meta. Alright, we do have to put pistols somewhere because they are weapons. For our highest ranking pistol, I'm going to put the 227 sidearm in the gray tier right now. This pistol recently got a buff and it's just insanely accurate. If you have it in your loadout as a gray pistol, it's awesome because it doesn't cost you any money at all. Our next gun going in the gray tier is going to be the M4 Commodore. The M4 Commodore has an insanely high fire rate for an assault rifle. However, it isn't extremely accurate at range and damage fall off is rather high. With that being said, if you are close range with it using it sort of like an SMG, the damage output is nasty and a lot of people are rocking this and killing you instantly almost. However, I personally don't like it just because it feels like a pea shooter, like an airsoft gun in my hand, so I'm putting it in the gray tier. After some debate, I'm gonna go ahead and call it there for the gray tier. There are a couple guns that I think should be in the gray tier, maybe in the balanced tier, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the balanced tier and just explain a little bit more on that. So with that being said, with our first gun going in the balanced tier, it's going to be the Vulture Assault Rifle. The Vulture Assault Rifle has the highest fire rate of all assault rifles in game, so if you want to use it point blank, it does a crazy amount of damage output like an SMG again. It used to be the meta, but it's not anymore. This gun could be in gray tier, but I'm putting it in balance for now. For our next gun going in the balanced tier, it's going to be the Squall Shotgun. The Squall got a big nerf about a month ago, really getting it to be balanced in my opinion. You can still kill someone with about 10 to 12 bullets, but I would use many other guns over a Squall. So for our next gun going in the balanced tier, it's going to be the Proton Marksman. So the Proton Marksman rifle is really accurate at range. It used to be the meta. It's still strong now. However, if I were to use a ranged weapon like this, it would definitely be the Kestrel. I would argue the Proton could slightly be up in gray if you're just crazy accurate with it and know how to use it with the right attachments, but I'm putting it in balanced. For our next weapon going in balanced, it's going to be the Kite SMG. And once again, I would say that if you use this the right way and you put the right attachments on it, it could be argued to be in great. It used to be the meta, but now I would say after the recent nerf to it, making 60 in a clip and just a little bit more damage fall off and whatnot, I'm gonna say it's imbalanced. Everyone else would be rocking either a Tacoma or a Woodpecker or a Kochi over the Kite. Now, if you find it on the ground, the Kite is still an amazing gun. All right, for our next gun imbalanced here, it's gonna be the Boomslang LMG. This LMG does do a lot of damage. It has a very slow fire rate. If you've ever seen the time to kill chart, then you're gonna know that the Boomslang has one of the lowest bullets to kill. For our next gun in the balanced tier, we're gonna be putting the Partisan. The Partisan has a really high fire rate. It can be accurate if you put the right attachments on it. However, I've never personally made a loadout with it. I'm just using other weapons over the Partisan. I'd say it's good. It's in a balanced area right now, which is what you want. Our next gun in the balanced tier is gonna be the AZV 100 SMG. It is a burst fire SMG. If you do hit shots and hit your headshots, this gun has an insane time to kill, especially when it's ground loot right off the beginning rip of the match. Use this gun if you see it. All right, for our last gun in the balanced tier, I'm gonna be putting the TAP 9 sidearm. The TAP 9 did used to be meta. There's plenty of videos of people using it, dropping 20 kills just using the TAP 9. However, it did get a big nerf, big recoil reduction, big bullet spread nerf, really bringing it down the tiers, bringing it in the balance area. I'm not using it. Like I said, I'm using the 227 personally. All right, for our bad tier, I'm gonna be putting the Kelowna sidearm. The Kelowna can be used well if you are point blank and you get the first shot on someone, but who wants to buy the attachments and have a purple Kelowna in their loadout with all that stuff when you could have something better or something cheaper to be able to get your loadout faster? I'm not using the Kelowna even if I find it on the ground. Personally, I'm taking a gray 227 over it. Does that mean it needs a buff? Not really. There's gonna be bad pistols in the game. All right, for our next gun in bad tier, we're gonna be putting the Mavinga AR. If you ask me, no one's running the Mavinga in a custom loadout. No one's running it unless they have to. All the guns did get reworked recently and it really evened the playing field. For our next gun in the bad tier, we're gonna be putting the Osprey Sniper. The Osprey is essentially a marksman rifle, it feels like. I would use a Proton over an Osprey. The Kestrel makes the Osprey obsolete. The Osprey is in the bad tier. I hope it gets a little bit of a buff soon. All right, for our trash tier. Our trash tier, we're gonna put the Casper AR. This is a burst rifle. I would argue it's not nearly as good as the burst SMG, the AZV 100 we have. Anytime I have a chance to grab something else, I'm getting rid of it. All right. For our last weapon in the trash tier and our last weapon of the whole tier list, we're gonna have the Ichnia marksman rifle. Do not grab the Ichnia. Do not use the Ichnia. Anytime I see one, I gag. This thing is just the absolute worst weapon in the game. Yes, even if you're using the Trump variant. All right, everyone, if you want to make your own meta tier list like I did, you can go to tiermaker.com and search off the grid weapon tier list. This is as of 3/8/2025. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more off the grid content in the future. Have fun in Teardrop, and I'll see you in the next one.